Wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ NV, Jess Hilarious, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. Lauren LaRosa filling in for Jess while she's on maternity leave. And we got a special guest in the building.
Yes, indeed.
Cari champion. Welcome back.
Thank you for having me.
How are you feeling?
I feel great. I'm so happy. I just would like to say you guys need better customer service.
I agree. What happened?
So I came in. Well, first of all, they told me to come an hour ago, right?
You was here an hour ago?
Yeah, just real.
9:45 was the time. Yes, she was. She was sitting there for an hour. You had to wait for an hour.
What were we doing?
I don't know what y'all was doing.
That's crazy.
Correct.
Nobody said that. That didn't happen.
No, that definitely happened.
That definitely happened.
Okay.
Then I sat down, and somebody's like, "Do you need anything?" I was like, "Yeah, I need some coffee." And then and that somebody is a person by the name of Brandon. Who's Brandon?
Brandon is a young man from Ghana who works here. He's a producer. He don't like black women, though. He likes white women.
Oh.
So that could explain it.
So if I was white, I would have got the
definitely
coffee.
you'd have probably had.
If you were Karen Champion, you'd have got your coffee.
Okay.
Karen Champion is
Karen would have got the
insane.
coffee. Cari didn't get the coffee. Got it. Lauren, you look great.
Thank you. So
You
good
look
to see you again. We back again.
Damn, 2 lies back to back you done told in this studio. That's crazy. What's up with you today, Cari? Why?
She looks great.
Why?
You know she looks great.
Why?
Carrie,
Why?
listen,
Why you
when the
just come here
devil try to
lying?
stop your jewelry,
Yeah.
you don't look to that side of the
know
room.
you fine, and he's stopping it right
Period.
now. You fine.
Thank
Period. You fine.
Well, Cari is the host of the Naked Podcast. You're back for the 4th season on the Black Effect iHeartRadio Podcast Network, and this season is a little different.
Yeah.
Because you have the Making of a Rivalry podcast,
Yep.
Caitlin Clark versus Angel Reese. Why are you pitting the women against each other?
I knew you was gonna say that. Okay, so first off, here's the thing. So I call a friend of mine, a little short man, and I go, "Hey, short man, I want to do this idea, and I think it's great." I said, everybody thinks that these two ladies don't like each other, and the way we work, we see the world through our own lens. So if you're black, I'm riding with Angel, and if you're white, I'm riding with Caitlin. I don't care what anybody says. I felt that, as opposed to just letting these women play ball. And I said, rivalry is not a bad thing, and everybody's comparing it to Magic and Bird. And I'm like, that was a good thing, right? It helped the NBA. That's the reason why the finals were no longer delayed. They were live. And I was like, this is a good thing. The WNBA has always been great, but they needed these supernovas to bring people to the WNBA to pay attention, to see how special they were. They already had Asia. They already had all these great people. Candace, Breonna Stewart. I can go down the list of all these great players. But for whatever reasons, this storyline was so compelling. And my argument is this country is just built on race. So if you have black versus white in anything, I'm locked in. Anybody's locked in because you want to pick a side and you want to put all your tropes on whomever's the person you decide to vote for or ride with. I'm referring to the election. And so my mind is, why don't we talk about the making of a rivalry and how this is really something special and how it's about to take women's sports to a whole new level? And my man says, yes, great, genius. And so what I found out by doing this docuseries is 6 parts. We have 6 episodes that we're doing in real time while the WNBA playoffs are happening, and soon we'll be into the finals. And it's been a ride, and it's been really good and special. I think we're doing it for the culture. I think I'm learning a lot about how people see women who play sports. And I also know that I had to really talk about what I felt, because I know I was riding with Angel too, right?
So what do you feel? Like, what have you learned? Because I mean, you already were all in. You're very educated on the subject, but what did you learn new that might have changed your perspective a little bit? Like, you know what? I do root for Caitlin as well.
I like Caitlin. I think Caitlin's I think she's a baller. I think she just wants to play. What I don't like is how some people in the media, some of my colleagues, are like, how come she not, denouncing racism, and how come she's not? And I'm like, she will when she learns. How long does it take a woman to find her voice in this world? She grew up in Iowa. She's 22 years old. I'm not caping for her, but I'm like, she didn't have the experience to speak on that. Remember when LeBron wasn't speaking on Black Lives Matter and all these other issues, and they held him accountable, and he finally said, okay, I have something to say. And you got to be educated and you got to be comfortable before you start talking about it. And she's getting there, and she'll be even better as the years come along. But I didn't like that. I also didn't like how they treated Angel. Angel had the best moment of her life, the best moment of her life. The crowning achievement is to win a championship. And when she won this championship, all these new fans and all these new analysts wouldn't even celebrate this queen. She had to deal with all this vitriol and hate and death threats. And all she did was say, I'm about to get a ring. You can't see me. The reality is that they have been whomever anybody wanted them to be before they walked on that stage. Like, as a white woman, we already define who you are. As a black woman, we already define who you are. And what I mean by we is society. They come from 2 different worlds. They live 2 different lives. They are who they are. Their talent is who they are. So she grew up in Baltimore, so Angel's gonna talk trash. Caitlyn talks trash too, just differently. And you ever remember? Let's talk about your tired Cowboys. You ever remember that time, long time ago?
So
Des
disrespectful
Bryant,
for no reason.
This is when tired Tony Romo was quarterback. And Des Bryant is trying to hype him up, like, we can do this, we can do this. And you're on the sideline, and he talking to him with all this energy. And you hear the commentator saying, oh, boy, Des is mad. Look at Des. He's so mad. And he's yelling at Tony. And Tony was like, no, actually, he was trying to hype me up. He was telling me that we got this. We can win this game. Now, when Tom Brady would sit on the sideline and throw his helmet and cuss everybody out, yeah, Tom's really frustrated with the game. He's frustrated with what's going on. And we do that. Me, media, everybody does that. And so I'm finding out that I have my own bias. I have my own attitude. I even cover the game differently. Even with
White tears don't move you.
Listen. At all. Thank you very much. But my point is, we have to stop doing that. Like, media has to stop doing that. I think the way that the fans are watching this game, they shouldn't do that. And I think what I'm finding out in this podcast is that most of us don't like to see women compete like athletes. Women can't be on the court trash talking. We can't be in your face. But it's quite all right to do it in the NBA. We can do it in the NBA. We can't do it in the WNBA. And it makes no sense.
I want to ask you something about the WNBA thing. Well, just really Caitlyn and Angel. Are they required to talk about anything other than basketball? Do we need them to? Do we need Caitlyn or Angel to speak out about anything? Racism,
Yes.
sexism? Do we need them to?
Yes.
I don't know if we need them to.
Listen, we in this world we live in today, you don't have that luxury. I think sports, politics, and culture all intersect. That's what we're doing on Naked Sports. Sports, politics, and culture intersect. And especially in a WNBA that's been dealing with racism since its inception,
Right.
you have to talk about it. So now you can't hide it. You have these two big stars, and they are talking about it. So you can't hide it. It's been happening, but now we have these two stars, and they're talking about it, and they're not letting you get away with it. You have to. You don't want to talk about certain things, but you have to. You have a voice. I used to tell you that a long time ago.
What I don't want to talk about? I don't know.
I'm making up something right now. My point is that you are required when you have a look, with great responsibility comes great pressure, and vice versa.
Yep.
You have to be able to stand in your feet and say, this is what's happening. And this is what these ladies have to do, whether they want to talk about it or not.
What do you think about their first season, both their rookie seasons?
I think she was not playing well when she first started. I think there was a lot of hype, but I think she figured it out. I think she is a generational talent.
Absolutely.
I think Caitlyn, when they didn't take her to the Olympics, she got in the gym, she got in the lab, she came back better than ever. She took this team that had never been to the playoffs within the last 10 years. She took them straight to the playoffs. Out the first round, but that's a remarkable turnaround. She didn't do it alone. She had Aaliyah Boston and other players, but what she was able to do for that team was transcendent. And then as far as Angel's concerned, this is a thing. They both are so good in college, and everybody's like, oh, they rookie year, it's not going to be this, it's not going to be that. They answered every single call. Everyone thought they'd be average. They were more than average.
They overexceeded expectations.
They overexceeded expectations. They weren't nervous. They got there. They were like, this is my stage. And what? Not thinking twice. Angel goes to the Met Gala, then returns, and then puts up another record-breaking rebound a game. And I'm like, wait a second. This is who she is.
Right.
This is what they do. They're not bothered by these, like, all the spotlights. Back in the day, the WNBA, in my opinion, I felt like the women were quiet. I felt like they had to be a certain way. And these ladies don't even know what that means. This generation don't know what that means. I'm showing up.
What you said is very important because back in the day, the WNBA was just as good, but for whatever reason, they didn't have a voice.
They didn't.
Like, there was no voice
I would
to
interview
it.
these women. I'd be like, tell me something. And they'd say what they thought they had to say.
Yeah.
They're not doing that now, which I love. And that makes the game so compelling, and that's why everybody's paying attention.
And now when you know Cheryl Swoops, you was like, I know she had a lot to say back
hello,
then.
you know
Dawn Staley had a lot to say back then.
they had something to say, but it was new, and it's 28 years young. It's still very young, and this is around the same time, if we even look at history, about 30 years into the NBA. That's exactly around the same time that the NBA started to do well, and people could see the profit in the NBA, not the ABA, but the NBA when it merged. And it takes a while for everybody to find their footing and what the foundation is and what it looks like. So the problem now, not even the problem, they have to, in the WNBA right now, they have to address the racism. Charlamagne disagrees with me on this. I want to get y'all thoughts. He's like, it's the price of being famous.
Price of success, yeah.
It's the price of success. He's saying the women just have to deal with it. Like, that, it just comes to the territory of making money. Do you agree with that?
When it comes to the racism?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I
Okay.
agree too.
Why?
I mean, because how do you get around it? How do you not? and especially you said in the world we live in today, if you don't, people create a narrative and then you got to fight back against that. So you kind of like fucks yourself over a bit. Like,
so you're just saying, just put your head down.
But,
no. I'm saying
be,
they need to deal with it. Like they have to deal with it. Not put your head down.
Yeah, let's be clear though, because you know the internet will take this out of context. It's not just the racism; it's the heckling, right? So it's the heckling, it's the people outside your hotel. It's all of that comes with being successful.
But that's two separate conversations. And to be clear, I'm not saying put your head down, just deal with it. I mean, deal with it, like say something, speak up. Okay. But with the heckling and stuff like that, I think there's an even trade because sometimes people, they like when the NBA players do it, it's a topic. It kind of adds character to a player. But I can understand him being like, just don't even address it. But when NBA players do it, people talk about it as if it's a great thing. So why can't the girls do it?
One of the ladies got called a nigga bitch.
Yeah.
But NBA players get called bitch niggas. All day, you know what I'm saying? So
but it's different with a girl. Why? Even watching,
so here's the double standard that I brought up to Charlamagne. He was like, the men deal with it all the time. I agree, they do deal with it, and now they've gotten to the point. We've seen LeBron and Russell Westbrook point out the player and say you have to
throw
go.
Him out. Yep.
Caitlin did that in her second game of the playoffs.
Loved it.
She was like, this one right here,
loved it.
He has to go. I agree with that. But this double standard where the women should, and it's a different double standard, the women should just deal with it because the men just deal with it. It doesn't hit the same way, does it?
No.
It doesn't hit the same way.
But why not? Because they're NBA stars. They're WNBA stars. They are athletes. They're on that platform. They're going to be called a whole bunch of things. Like Charlamagne and myself are called a whole bunch of things.
Well, you deserve to be called a Fraggle Maggot.
You're a Fraggle Maggot. Don't say that.
Fraggle Maggot.
This guy's a Fraggle Maggot.
You don't want to know. It's a word that they are not supposed to say.
You see the baby oil behind him over there?
Is that what Donnell brought in the other day for
Yes,
you?
Yeah.
Stop demonizing baby oil. Baby oil has been good to us.
Baby oil.
Anyway, go ahead, continue, Fraggle Maggot.
As I was saying, I think if you put anybody into that celebrity light, they have to deal with it. Whether you're a boxer, whether you're a baseball player, whether you're it doesn't matter who you are.
So you're
if you're a celebrity, you have to do it.
So
Lauren has to deal with it now.
But it's still different. Like,
why is it different?
Because as a woman, there are different things that people throw on me that like I don't want on me. As a man, y'all don't get that. Like
that's not true.
That is true. First of all, how you gonna tell a woman that it's not true? For instance, right? If you're outspoken,
no, you're saying there's things that I wouldn't want on me. There's plenty of things you can say to a man that you don't want.
I'm not saying that you don't want it on you. What I'm saying is that regardless if you want it on you or not, you can react and people champion you. And if you don't react, it's like, oh, he's used to his celebrity. If a woman chooses to not react, it's like it's going to keep going to a point where it becomes her and she has no defense against it because she hasn't said anything. But then if she says something, it's like who she thinks she is.
Why she doing? You damned if you do, you damned if you don't.
Yes, like you were one of the most.
It's not the same for men, and that is a true statement. And so you all live in a different world. It's truly a man's world. The older I get, the more I realize that I'm like, damn, y'all got everything.
You got to navigate. Like even in this room, there are certain things that you guys can do and say very confidently that even if I confidently do and say, people just take it differently.
But
and
I think there's a lot that you can say confidently that we can't say.
Maybe
certain
like
topics when you talk about certain things. If we say it wrong, especially when it comes to women, anything said about women. If we say it wrong, we're in trouble. But you can say whatever you want about men. And that's the honest truth.
I think we're taking the conversation somewhere different.
That ain't true.
All I'm simply saying is, and this is all I'm simply saying about the WNBA or anybody that's successful. There is no defense to it. Meaning that these people can say whatever they want about us, and there's nothing we can do about it. Like literally, we can speak out against it. We can, say that's wrong, but it's not going to stop it. So you got to find ways to not let it affect you and not affect your game.
I agree with that, but here's where we draw the line. Caitlin has said, as well, Angel has been very vocal about this on her podcast. Angel Reese says, they followed me home. There's death threats. Now, I'm not saying there's not death threats for the men, but there is a certain level of vitriol that a black woman gets for being comfortable in her own skin and being unapologetic. I can't even describe it. And I think I'm not a black man, so I wouldn't know how to relate to what the vitriol you would get would be. But for a woman being confident and comfortable in her own skin, and especially a black woman, there's something so very frightening about it. Look at the election. When Kamala walked over there and shook Donald Trump's hand in his space and was like, "What's up?" Do you know how many people were like, "How dare she?"
That's when she won to me.
That's when she won to us.
I was like, "Oh,
That's when she won to us."
He was backing up like, "Whoa!"
But the optics, he was afraid of her. And you know what's scary? Because he knows she's intelligent, she's smart, and she's ready. And that's exactly what Angel is: intelligent, smart, and she's ready, and she's unapologetic. And that is for writing on a different level. And there's absolutely no respect for her because of the fact that she does that. And so there is sometimes, in my opinion, that enough is enough. You following me home because I was trash talking?
But nobody should be following.
They made up pictures and sent it to her family.
Nobody should be following.
I agree with that,
regardless.
but I don't necessarily know. And this is one thing that I will say. I'm sure other players have dealt with that, like what LeBron went through when he decided to leave Cleveland and go to Miami. I'm sure it was a whole nother level. Like let's be real. Like the way that he dealt with that was probably better than anybody could have dealt with that. And I don't even think anybody in the WNBA has been experienced what he probably had to deal with. But
because of his level of success.
Because of his level of success. But there is some, the WNBA needs to invest in more security.
Absolutely.
They need to have a no-nonsense policy. They need to have a commissioner who talks about this and say, we won't tolerate this, although it will happen.
Angel has to invest in her own personal security.
She has to invest in her own personal security. And Caitlin Clark, I think when she's comfortable, will be able to talk about this in a way that says, don't put this on me. This is not about what I want to do. Don't put your tropes, your beliefs on me.
But that's if the salaries can support it as well. Like they're not getting paid like NBA players. So if she can't afford a full-time security, that's a lot. That's a lot on the person.
Yeah, you're right. But they making money. But I do feel like
those two are making money.
Yeah, but even to your point, I think WNBA should provide security even outside of the stadium.
I agree.
Especially for their top level talent.
Yes.
That's having to deal with that.
Yes.
That's their
Absolutely.
investment. I'm surprised they put them on. I'm happy they put them on private planes.
Yeah.
So they don't have to be in the airport with people harassing them and yelling at them.
It started with Brittany Griner. They had to. They were rolling up on Brittany, mad at her, saying she wasn't a patriot. They were upset at her because she came home first, and so they had to do that. And unfortunately, there is some onus on the NBA as well. They work together. They should be able to give them money too. Let me hold something and let's figure this out. And so I do understand what you're saying. As a woman, it's a different level of response. It hits differently. You can't say you damned if you do, damned if you don't. You really are. And so I do believe there needs to be some type of security in place for all of these women. But now we're getting into a whole nother level. And I don't necessarily agree that just because they're famous, they have to just take it. I don't agree with that.
No, I mean you kind of do, because what are we supposed to do? Like, what are you supposed to do when you're in, like? What is Oprah supposed to do? What is LeBron supposed to do? What is Jay-Z supposed to do?
That's what they signed up for.
But it's not right.
It's not right. But there's really no
right.
defense against it. Like, what do you do? Somebody gets on a platform and says something crazy about you.
That's
you
fine.
can sue them if you want, but what do you do?
I don't mind you talking bad about me. I don't mind you heckling me either, right? But the reality is that this has been an issue for a very long time, and they've never addressed it.
The baby just left here, right?
He said what?
The baby shot somebody because they came on his property. The guy wanted to perform for the baby. That's the price of being the baby. My therapist told me that a long time ago. My therapist said you can't have, your success without having your problems. It just comes with it. Why? I hate that it's like this, but it is.
Charlamagne got beat up, punched in the back of the head. Everybody laughed. Charlamagne got beat up again in front of
I didn't get beat up
inside of a bodega.
That's not true.
What else?
I beat the shit out that young man.
Well, he punched
that
Charlamagne
older man. I don't know if he was young or old. I don't know.
He was an older guy.
First time I met Charlamagne, they tried to jump you outside the station.
He was getting beat up again.
Remember? That's what you're talking about?
But nobody felt bad for him. Everybody
They
thought
should.
it was funny. But they should.
How many times you got beat up,
Why should they feel bad
You got
for
beat
me?
up 3 times?
They should, because you got beat up.
First of all, the guy at the drugstore, I beat the shit out of him.
Okay.
The other one, they punched me in the back of the head, and that's when I ran into the station.
He ran into the station.
But that was a different kind of,
But nobody ever felt bad for him. He was doing his job at work.
I was the bad guy.
He was the bad guy.
The self-proclaimed.
That's apples and oranges. These
Which,
ladies
by
are
the
playing
way-
basketball.
Oh, but that doesn't make me think of
no,
something. Hold on,
by
that
the
makes me
way-
think of something, though. Was it a mistake? Is it a mistake for Angel Reese to call herself the villain?
No, she walked it back. She said, "Look, I've tried to own the narrative and take this, but I refuse to take it." She was
Got you.
I'm not built for this.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's not built for that.
Got you.
And by the way, what black woman isn't a villain when she's comfortable in her own skin and speaking up against what's not right? Everybody makes black women a villain when they're comfortable. You know this. I'm not making this up. We looking at Kamala. She's smart. She's intelligent, and all of a sudden she's the bad. How is she the bad guy in the race? How's she the bad person in the race?
She's not. To me.
And you as the
you got Mr. Grabbing by the pussy. How is she?
Right.
And Trump is like a toted, and that's what I'm saying by, I know that there's no defense to it, but sometimes it's okay to, if you decide to do whatever you think is the defense, react to it, because you literally cannot win. Because when you're a woman and you're the bad guy,
you're right.
We don't get the toted, you're the out here, you're doing well, you're speaking up for yourself. We don't get that. It's different for us. And I don't know why it's like that. And I don't know if it's ever going to change, but.
I get what y'all think. I think we're having two different conversations. I'm just talking about when you are a successful person.
This comes with it.
all of the bullshit comes, all of the talking shit, the harassment, all of this.
And
I agree. And after a while, in the beginning it hurts, right?
Yep.
And then after a while you don't care no more. You're just like, okay, what? I only date white men. Okay, I got it. Okay, what? I'm an angry black woman. Okay, I got it. You just don't care.
Only dates white men.
I'm just saying about the narratives.
Call Dr. Umar right fucking now. Get him on line 1.
My point is,
I've been wanting to have this intervention.
You stupid. This intervention. My point is that there will be a narrative that follows you no matter what, and you take it.
You only date white men?
No, I don't.
Oh.
You started that. Why would you say that?
That's the first thing you said.
I date black men.
Okay.
I date black men.
I believe you.
Thank you. You see how you do me?
Yep.
Can we talk about how Cari heard a WNBA play at the game?
I did do that.
Charlamagne showed me the picture.
What was that young lady name?
I'm not gonna say because I did not hear her. I'm not gonna say. So I'm sitting. Let me tell you, I'm sitting courtside, minding my own business. Charlamagne, like, you over there looking 6'8". How tall are you? What are you doing? It just so happens one of the ladies tumbled from the Las Vegas Aces in front of where I was sitting, and I was just looking, and it was sad.
She hit her head on Cari's boot. Look, Cari had that boot courtside.
Wow.
Cari over there sitting like a big old nigga, legs open, and you know what I'm saying? Hands between her legs. Like, what the fuck? Like,
whatever it takes for the liberty to win. Whatever it takes for the liberty to win.
I'm like, who is Cari wanting to fight? What's going on? Why was you sitting like this?
Envy, why do you have to deal with this? Why?
Cari had some cognac in it.
I did not have any cognac. I don't drink.
That's the first thing he came in to say. He was like, "Look at Cari. She was sitting like a nigga.
He told me all night.
Like big ass boots, and she kicked
was
the girl in the head.
You got your legs open. You sitting like a man. Who you think you is?" And I was like, "Oh, wait." After a while, I was like, "Wait."
No. When I saw the picture, I was like, "Did Cari used to play sports?"
I
didn't say that. I was like, did she used to play basketball or something? Because
I was like, am I looking like a man? Okay, tell me. First of all,
you was in the zone though.
I was in the zone. I was watching the game. That's how people watch the game. And you're up here like I look like a man. I was like, isn't that rude?
Yeah.
I don't know why you consider him a friend. Like he was
talking bad about me
all the time.
He was like, I was in a group chat and they said you was fine. I said, I heard she was a man. I was just like, why do you do that?
I didn't say a man.
I know who.
What'd you say?
You bet not. You bet not. You bet not on this day. I will come over there and carry you out of here.
I heard her name used to be Carl.
Okay.
That's all I'm going to say.
Stop.
Leave it alone.
You better stop.
I have a question for you,
You better stop. You better. Now, see that?
But all jokes aside, Cari is an example of what she's talking about, because it's like, Cari walks in the room, she just has a presence.
Correct.
Right? It's not because she's just tall or whatever. It's just because she really has a presence. I can see how that can intimidate some people.
And you know what I said to
and
him?
make people uncomfortable.
I agree. I said I feel it when I feel it. And it's not a cocky thing. I just feel it when I walk in a room. People stop, they pay attention, they look, and it makes people uncomfortable. I understand that. But it's just who I am. It's my level of comfort wherever I'm at. I'm at home in my body wherever I'm at. And so I get why you said that. And that's why he said, "Are you 6'8"?" And I'm like, "No, I'm just 5'10".
But it's not a size thing though. Like when Stephanie Mills walks in the room, you
Big
just
presence.
feel it. Big presence.
Yeah,
That's what I'm
feel it.
saying.
You feel it. And you either are comfortable with it or you're not comfortable with it. You can relate.
No, she can't. When did you get comfortable with it, Cari?
Hater.
At what age did you get comfortable with it? Because Stephanie said she didn't get it until she was 55.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I'd probably say when I was like 35. I just knew. But first of all, look, this is sound crazy, and y'all, and you, everybody in this room can relate to this. I hope in some way. You ever felt like you were just special and set apart?
Absolutely.
From
100%.
7 years old.
Absolutely.
7 years old, I was like, oh, I'm different. And I didn't know what that meant or felt like, and I've walked in that ever since until you realize, oh, this is what that means. And people resent you for it, people love you for it, people hate you for it. And that's what we're dealing with Caitlin and Angel. They're just different. And of course there are players in the league. I'm not saying anybody hates them, but you can't decide who will be the supernova. You can't decide who's going to be the person that carries us into a different stratosphere.
That's right.
It just happens. It's something that is destined. It's what it is. You couldn't tell me Breakfast Club would not be the voice of the people and then also elevate into more things. Like, it just happens. You were assigned. You were assigned. You were assigned. It is what it is. And so once you realize that, you've already felt it. I felt it since I was a kid. And I knew what it was. But I was just like, okay, what does this look like? What am I going to do with it? And these two ladies are learning to deal with that. They know they're assigned. They know they're special. They know they're set apart. And they also know that people resent them. Because there are the folks that were before them that actually laid the foundation, the Dawn Staleys, the Cheryl Swoops, the Candace Parkers, the Lisa Leslies. You can go down the list of women who really put this league in its place and put it literally on the map. But you can't assign who's going to be the supernova to take us to that next level. And it just so happens that it's a woman by the name of Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, and that story is so damn compelling. Black versus white.
I mean, I think that story sells regardless. I mean, even in boxing, when you look at boxing, when it's race, I think it sells regardless because people want to rep their race.
Taylor Swift and Beyonce. That's our next episode. Our next episode is about the rivalry, or the perceived rivalry goes beyond sport. Find me any black and white version, and people are going to compare because that's what people do, and they have to tell you one is better than the other. But both of those ladies were assigned. They're special and set apart in their own world, powerful, but people still want to put them in verses and want to say one is better than the other.
You're a lifelong Lakers fan, so you've seen the Lakers-Celtics rivalry. What makes this Caitlyn Angel thing similar to Magic and Bird, outside of the race thing? Like, just what is it?
Well, they don't play the same position, so I do want to say that because I hear a lot of players saying they don't play the same position, so why is there a rivalry? It's a rivalry because it's
Magic and Bird didn't play the same position.
You're right, but it's a rivalry because but they were more equivalent. Caitlyn right now is all offense. She is spectacular, and she's always going to be more dynamic in the sense that offense gets people in the stands and makes people pay attention. She is shooting from the logo, and it's crazy. It's insane what she can do when she really gets in her zone. And what Angel is doing, I think, is different. While she's good on defense and she'll get our offensive game together eventually, what she is doing, she's doing something that we haven't seen, in my opinion, a WNBA player do or a black female athlete do in a very long time. She's getting Lotto to come to the games. Meg Thee Stallion is talking about what she wants to do. She's at the Met Gala. She's living in the world. They're rapping about her akin to Drake rapping about LeBron.
Yeah.
She's done something that hasn't been done before. And I don't even know if she's aware of it. Even Serena, I love Serena.
That wasn't
People talked about that wasn't happening with Lisa Leslie.
Okay.
Not that way. Not in that capacity. Not in that way. Like, these are her people. She's kicking it with Megan. She's kicking it with
Lotto
SZA.
just did her podcast.
They are her people. They are her friends. She has all the influencers around her, and they want to be around her. We've seen that happen. Athletes want to be ballers, and ballers want to be athletes. We've only seen that with men. We haven't seen that with women, especially not a black woman. Serena, I'll give her because she was popular and she had a lot of people, but it was tennis, and she did bring all the stars. So look, you get apples and oranges. She did bring a lot of stars to the game, but I truly, honestly believe for a WNBA player, a black woman, to have this effect in the culture. She is the culture. She's representing the culture. She the it girl. She the hot girl.
You can't teach that either.
You can't
You
teach
either got that or you don't. She got it.
She's on assignment.
It's in her, not on her.
She's on assignment.
I had to ask them when it happened. Would love to hear what you had to say about it. Like, when she had to sit out for the rest of the season, does that affect, because I mean, she has all that, but like, she's not playing the game for the rest of the season, so does that affect what she was doing, or like what will happen moving forward?
No, they have a truncated season anyway. I think that if she would have continued to play, maybe the Chicago Sky would have made it to the playoffs, but she made a smart decision in my opinion, which is to take care of herself now so she can come back stronger than ever. It doesn't affect her. It did affect the rookie race. I in some capacity, I thought Caitlin Clark was going to be Rookie of the Year anyway. I just thought she was, because
even though that Reese had a great first half.
Yeah, and
Caitlin's first half was kind of.
It was, but it balanced out because one, not only did she take her team to the playoffs that hadn't been in like 10 years, Caitlin, she requires something more. You can't really defend a shot. Like, when they were like triple teaming her and double teaming her, she figured it out. She just figured it out, and that to me, for a rookie, is really special. Because how many times have we heard about rookies in the NBA? They're going to be it. They're going to be it. How many rookies have been it?
That's right.
When you start looking at these rookies and you're like, who's really it? LeBron, right? After LeBron, who was the rookie that was it? Name one after LeBron. Who lived up to all the hype? After LeBron.
After LeBron?
Who lived up to all the hype?
Nobody.
Find me the number one pick.
Yeah.
Number one pick?
Who lived up to all the hype after LeBron?
Nobody.
You don't look at me, I wouldn't know.
It takes them a couple of years to figure it out. It's a different league, but if we're just doing athletes on athletes, I'm just saying, let's talk about it. It's a different league, obviously different requirements, but look.
Maybe Victor
Anthony
Wembanyama.
Edwards, but it took a minute. Everybody thought Zion was going to be it.
What about Victor Wembanyama?
Yeah, they thought Zion was it.
Victor,
maybe, sort of, kind of.
Still special.
Average, yeah.
Still special, but he wasn't giving everybody the business.
Yeah. Yeah, it's nobody. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah.
And that's why I was mad when people were like, they're jealous of her, and we heard all these the men explaining that the women were jealous of Caitlyn. I was like, but what about when everybody was going at LeBron's head? When you are the most sought after, the most talked about, I have to, okay, well, welcome to the league. Let me show you what this is. Candace Parker, we always give this example. Candace Parker's rookie year, she got a 2-piece. They had her on the ground. They were beating her, like literally trying to beat her up. And it was at benches. Everybody got off the benches. Lisa Leslie got pushed down. No one ever talked about it. And then you're talking about Caitlin Clark, and you're like, oh, they poked her in the eye. They stabbed her in the eye. Oh, they're just so mean to her. What game have you been watching? These ladies ball.
They ball.
They ball. And you even said that. When you were watching, you were like, this game is good.
Yeah, I mean, I watch it on television, but going to the Liberty and Aces game, it was like, wow.
It's a whole new thing.
I enjoyed it thoroughly. Like, in a lot of ways, more than the men's game.
A lot of ways.
Because they're so fundamentally sound.
That they know the basics, and and everyone's like, oh, they don't dunk, and then so when Caitlin started to shoot like Steph, you didn't have that excuse anymore to say you weren't watching the game.
And that's the new dunk. The logo 3 is the new dunk anyway.
So Steph? I used to say this and still believe the reason why Steph Curry is the most impactful player the NBA has ever seen is because he made everybody believe. He made the average kid in the backyard shoot from the logo believe that they could do it. I don't have to be 6'8". I don't have to be built like LeBron. I don't have to dunk. If I can shoot from here, I can be like Steph. That is why people love Caitlin Clark's game because they believe. Oh, I can do that. Little girls are at home watching. I'm sitting next to this little girl right now. This little girl at the game the other night was like, oh wow, and you know why she's watching? Because when she saw Caitlin Clark out there, she could relate. She was like, because I don't know if I'm ever going to be A'ja Wilson's height. But and by the way, everyone's tall. I mean, Steph is tall, Caitlin's tall, but they don't feel unattainable. It feels like it's not aspirational. It's like I can do that.
It's not 6'8". It's not 6'9".
Correct.
I don't like how you looked at me just now. You said everybody's tall. You started to say except you, but I saw you.
How tall are you?
5'4".
5'8".
You short and thick? It's cool.
Charlamagne's 5'4".
What? I'm short and what?
Thick.
I said that to you the other day.
Like stocky.
Your hips. I told you, you starting to get hips. I told you that.
He would be like a point guard, right?
You got hips for real. I said that to you. Look at your hips.
I ain't got no hips.
And a big booty.
You be working out though.
Uncle Thickums?
Oh, you thickums. You out here. Look
Hey.
at this.
Okay. Why you throw your hands up like that when you do it though? Why you throw your hands up?
Because he's been
hands on the knees. Hands in the air is crazy. Not even on the knees.
Crazy.
So listen,
he's crazy.
if Caitlin and Angel are Magic and Bird, who's gonna be Jordan?
Ooh, if I had to say who Jordan is right now, and she's so humble with it.
Juju?
Well, we don't know yet. She could be, but right now, if I talked about A'ja Wilson, if I had to talk about who, meaning like A'ja is a guaranteed bucket. I know they may not win this series as we know, and we're watching they're down 2-0, but A'ja to me she does it all. She does it all.
No, I agree.
She's in the paint. She's defense. She's offense. She's a leader on that court. She requires more. I'm watching her. I'm like, if you were a man, we'd be talking about this more.
Greatest WNBA player that's playing today. You know I love A'ja Wilson. I think she's more like Tim Duncan, though.
Why?
Just because she's great on both ends of the court, right? And even though her personality is really big, right? I'm not talking about her. I'm just talking about the way they play. For whatever reason, you don't appreciate that type of game. She's so fundamentally sound, dominates on both sides of the court. You know she's going to show up every game, but it just feels more Tim Duncan is. Tim Duncan is the greatest power forward of all time, by the way.
Yeah, he is, but I feel like there's something more special about her. But to the point where Jordan.
But why we don't think Duncan is special? Because he beat the Lakers. That's why.
No, and because Duncan is phenomenal.
Duncan was special.
For two things, right? And we got to keep it a buck. He played for the Spurs, very humble team, very quiet team. He's a quiet, humble man. You need to have your tongue hanging out your mouth. You need to talk a little shit.
Yeah.
That's why we love Jordan. Jordan gave us flash. He gave us a show. I need to be entertained if I'm gonna watch basketball. I'm not saying that doesn't mean Tim Duncan isn't that great, but that's why people forget. That's why they forget about Kareem. They forget about the greatest man ever who created the sky. They forget about Kareem in a lot of ways.
Absolutely.
And you remember Magic because he was Showtime. The Lakers created Showtime. That's why you remember Magic and Magic's one of your favorite players. Why do we love Kobe? Because Kobe was like, we knew he was a dog and he didn't care about nobody.
That's right.
You love that. We need both. And that, which is unfortunate because it goes back to my point. Angel has that trash talk in her. She got that dog in her, but we don't allow women to play sports like men play sports. We don't allow women, we don't consume women the way we consume men when it comes to sports.
A'ja and Dawn are the reason I started watching women's basketball so much.
A'ja is, to me, the greatest. To me. And that says a lot. She's so humble with it though. That's why we're not paying. She's so humble with it. And I'm just like, she's the greatest. I don't know what Juju will be. I don't want to put that on her. I think Juju Watkins is gonna ball. I think she's gonna be something super special. I think this class, Paige Beckers, who's at UConn, I think she's gonna be special. What Paige is gonna do, because she has a black stepmother, what she is going to do is be able to kill this narrative of black versus white. Because when she got up at the ESPYs and said, I just want to give a special shout out to black women, to me, I understood that she knew her assignment. She sees that sometimes these black women in this sport have been ignored. Look, 75% are LGBTQIA. You can't market that to middle America. So that's why it was so hard for the WNBA to take off. So then you have this white Catholic woman who comes in from Iowa, and it felt more comfortable to watch for the masses. And
it's
that's
still 75% now?
I look, 70. I go back and forth. Regardless of what the number is, the majority is, and it's hard to market that to a country that doesn't want to deal with that, right? It's hard to market that. And not to me, but for them it was hard. And this is where two things where the WNBA needs to embrace it. They need to embrace who these women are, what their sexuality is, how they live their lives. They also need to get them some security, and they can't make one person be the main person because that causes resentment and strife. And so they need to really, this league is growing overnight. And the WNBA needs to figure it out quickly. It's
growing so fast. I mean, think about last year, not the WNBA, but the women's college basketball NCAA finals between Iowa and South Carolina.
19 some odd million people watch.
More than the men. They didn't expect
unheard
that.
Of.
They didn't expect that.
Unheard of. And at the time when Angel Reese beat Iowa and LSU beat Iowa, it was 9.9 million people. At the time, that was the largest they had ever seen. And not for nothing, you know, Caitlin Clark, they had this exhibition game her senior year, going into her senior year. They played basketball in a football stadium. 55,000 people showed up to watch women play basketball. 55,000 people showed up to watch women play sports.
That's crazy.
It's. I mean, we're in a different world right now. And by the time your children are ready to go pro and play, and your girls are ready to play, they're gonna make money.
Yeah, and you got phenomenal. Like you said, you got Paige coming, you got Juju coming, you got Audie Crooks at Iowa State, you got Malaysia Fawali at South Carolina.
She's special.
Beast.
A beast. There are so many great players, and they've been there. The product has always been there. We just now started paying attention. We just started. So it's something special, and everybody watches women's sports. That's not just cliche. Shout out to my girl Justine Brown who came up with that.
So where do you see the WNBA 5 years from now?
I see more money. I see it competing in a real way with the NBA. I say that only because of those two women in that storyline. The storyline will be a trope for another couple of years because it's interesting and people are compelled to pay attention to it, and you love to pick a side. But I also know that on football Sunday, when Caitlin Clark was playing in the playoffs on a football Sunday, her game against the Connecticut Sun literally averaged 1.2 million viewers on a football Sunday. You mean to tell me people weren't watching football? They went to turn to watch women's basketball, not men's basketball, a playoff game, the first round. It's a wrap. This is the future. So
I agree.
So be prepared, and anybody listening, make sure your daughter can play sports because she's gonna take care of y'all. It'll be the daughter who buying a house. Like we'll hear those stories. Right. Wow. We'll hear the story. I bought my mama a house. I bought my mama a car. I put everybody through school. I went back to my favorite high school, and I gave everybody scholarships. The stories that we hear and see will be for the men will be the stories that we hear and see for the women. These rappers will be talking about these women. These women will have big major deals when it comes to marketing. They won't be sitting in the back, and it won't be just because they are cute. It will be because I'm old enough to remember 5 years ago when they talked about women, it was always who's the hottest. When they talk about women in sports, it was who's the hottest. It was never who was the best on the court or who was the best playing tennis. Or it was like who looked good. Serena made all that attention, although she was great. But the cat suit, we all remember that cat suit, that black cat suit. We only sexualized.
What?
I used to have that picture hanging up in there. Remember when she was, because she was hitting. I had an action shot where she had the tennis racket and she was about to hit the ball. I used to have it hanging up.
You had it hanging up because she was about to hit the ball?
No, I had it hanging up in the old studio.
Well, why?
Because Serena was amazing.
Okay.
I had a top 5 list. It was remember.
Leave it alone.
But it was Serena, Patti LaBelle, Kelly Rowland.
Oh, okay. See my point.
Jennifer Lopez and Stacey Dash.
See my point. The hottest. Yeah. The hottest. That's all they used to be. They were sexualized.
And I wasn't sexual. I just thought they were fun.
No, not you. Listen. Listen.
You weren't sexualized. Something was sexy.
You weren't like, he wasn't like, dang, I love that. I love the way she hit the ball. Serena's serve is crazy. It was the immediate thought is that she's bad. She's bad.
Yeah.
And that's fine because that's how men see women. I understand that. But soon it'll be like, what's her game like? I promise you this conversation about what they look like will always still be there because men are men. But the reality is the skill set will be the first thing. When you think about Caitlin Clark, you're not looking at her like, are you bad? You're not thinking that at all. Are you think Caitlin Clark's hot?
It's also an age thing, too.
You know, first of all, when have you ever known me to be attracted to a white woman?
Yeah, I was supposed to say.
Absolutely not.
Now you don't like white women.
Now, oh.
I don't. You can't even. Ain't nobody even gonna believe that one,
Ain't
Lauren.
never told you?
Lauren, you can say that
We'll
all
talk
day.
after the show.
Ain't
Okay.
nobody even gonna believe that one.
Don't want to put my brother on blast.
Okay.
No.
That's why I did this.
She loves. You know who she loves? Travis Kelce.
Oh, okay.
She had Travis Kelce as her screensaver.
I used to.
And Caleb Plant.
And Caleb Plant, exactly. Caleb Plant.
No, you tried to throw that one on me and it backfired.
She love a white man with a beard. A white man with a beard?
Yeah, but no, Travis, everybody gets the Travis thing. We don't, not anymore, but everybody gets the Travis thing because he has swag. It wasn't that he was attractive, he just had swag.
I'm confused now what he had because it went away so fast.
A white man with a beard and some Timbs, she love him. She want a lumberjack so bad.
Just little edge. You like white men too?
No, I don't.
Yes, she does.
You lie.
She does.
I don't. I mean,
I don't.
Yeah.
I do.
Mm-hmm.
No offense, white men.
Cari, she's single.
Oh.
What advice would you give her?
I was single the last time you was here.
But you got some booze now, right?
Some
So
things
what are
never
the DMs like now? Are they worthy? Because I want to give you some advice.
I feel like even if it's a little hard to navigate sometimes because like where did you come from and why?
Yeah.
Sometimes.
There's a motive.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's an ulterior motive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I could tell that in the conversation because it'll go from, you know, like they'll bring the jokes from the show into the DM and all that, and then it'll go to, because I
What
got
jokes?
the single. It'll be like, oh,
You don't shave under your
you
arm.
single, tell them leave you alone. No, the ones that's real serious don't bring that up because they already know.
Wait a
Like
second, you don't shave under your arms?
I did.
One.
Oh, wait,
On one armpit.
He
One armpit.
started
One armpit. She came in here one day and had hair under one armpit.
He's
It was
lying.
crazy,
Okay,
Cari.
he's lying.
Cari,
But
it was
anyway,
insane.
Yeah, my bad.
That's when I was like,
things are
yo.
moving and grooving. I'm not
Cari.
worried about anything.
Okay.
But it's
You
something to
should've seen
navigate.
Yeah. First of all, my advice would be have a little fun, right? Try to go with that like, you know, that's been on my list. That's been on my hit list.
She's been having fun for a long time, Cari.
First of all, Envy.
Sorry, go ahead.
Relax. No, I have not.
have a little fun, but you know, don't go too crazy
Not too crazy.
because they'll put your business in the street in a minute.
Now
They
that's
worse
the
than-
thing
They
to
will
tell her
put your
now.
business
He
in the
tells me all the time,
street.
they
They'll
worse
put
than
your
the women.
Yeah, they are. They'll put your business in, and they'll lie. Men, y'all lie. Y'all stay lying on y'all
They
stuff.
can't wait to say they hit Lauren LaRosa. I
They-
hit Lauren
yeah,
LaRosa.
they be
yeah.
lying.
She had a little hair under one armpit, but it was cool. You know what I'm saying? It was cool.
Cari, we appreciate you for joining.
Thank you for having me.
Make sure you
Check it
subscribe to the Making of a Rivalry podcast, Caitlin Clark versus Angel Reese on the Black Effect iHeartRadio podcast network. It will be a documentary soon, a visual
Soon.
documentary. It's
Soon,
an audio
we put it out
documentary
there.
now, but
We put it out there.
And Cari, you stay in New York, or you come up here once a year?
I try to come all the time.
You had
Eddie
all
doesn't
these
want me
sports
on.
talk and all these things to talk about. and you
Listen,
could just-
I've been trying to get this one. I'll be like, okay, let me call Eddie again.
Damn it. So
You think
why
Eddie-
you in the Cari?
Why you
like,
trying
she
to?
can come up anytime she wants to.
All right, I'll
Cari
be
be
back.
busy. Cari be on CNN and all kind of stuff. You
Cari's
listen to Cari.
booked, honey.
Booked and busy, but I'll
There
be
you go.
back. I love talking to y'all. It's very comfortable. Shout out to everybody who's listening. Please go pay attention to this. I'm seriously, this docuseries is special.
It is.
I'm so proud of it. Like I've done a lot of stuff. This one I'm proud of. I'm really, really proud of it because we talk about everything and it's just beautiful, y'all. Beautiful.
And
So
you'll
thank
have
you for supporting.
You'll have your coffee next time too.
Yeah, I know. Shout out to Brandon who didn't get it.
Oh, man.
He loves white women.
It's Cari Champion.
That's a black man that loves white women.
It's Cari Champion. It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning.
Wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.